Thank you for tuning in again, and welcome to the Trump Dossier programs. This is Company Intelligence Report 2016, report number 100. I should be mentioning the curious fact about these reports: there seem to be many missing numbers, and as we've already seen, there are two in reverse order of time. I don't know what this means. Whether the missing report numbers were reports that had nothing to do with the Trump situation, whether maybe they were reports issued for other purposes, or whether they are being censored and are not released for various security reasons. But it is important that you realize that as we go through these 17 reports, there are many, many numbers of reports that are missing. And again, I have no idea what the significance of those omissions might be. Russia, USA, growing backlash in Kremlin to DNC hacking and Trump support operations. Summary, and this is dated 5 August 2016, 5th of August 2016. Head of PA, that is the presidential administration, head of PA Ivanov laments Russian intervention in U.S. presidential election and black PR against Clinton and the DNC. Vows not to supply intelligence to Kremlin PR operatives again. Advocates now sitting tight and denying everything. Presidential spokesman Peskov, the main protagonist in Kremlin campaign to aid Trump and damage Clinton. He is now scared and fears being made scapegoat by leadership for backlash in the United States. Problem compounded by his botched intervention in recent Turkish crisis. Premier Medvedev's office furious over DNC hacking and associated anti-Russian publicity. Want good relations with U.S. and ability to travel there, refusing to support or help cover up after Peskov. Talking now in Kremlin of Trump withdrawing from presidential race altogether, but this is still largely wishful thinking by more liberal elements in Moscow. And now detail. Speaking in early August 2016, two well-placed and established Kremlin sources outlined the divisions and backlash in Moscow arising from the leaking of Democratic National Committee, DNC, emails and the wider pro-Trump operation being conducted in the U.S. Again, the wider pro-Trump operation being conducted in the U.S. Head of Presidential Administration, Sergei Ivanov, was angry at the recent turn of events. He believed the Kremlin team involved, led by presidential spokesman Dmitry Peskov, had gone too far in interfering in foreign affairs with their, quote, elephant in a china shop black PR, unquote. Ivanov claimed always to have opposed the handling and exploitation of intelligence by this PR team. Following the backlash against such foreign interference in U.S. politics, Ivanov was advocating that the only sensible course of action now for the Russian leadership was to, quote, sit tight and deny everything, unquote. 2. Continuing on this theme, the source close to Ivanov reported that Peskov now was, quote, scared shitless, unquote, that he would be scapegoated by Putin and the Kremlin and held responsible for the backlash against Russian political interference in the U.S. election. Ivanov was determined to stop Peskov playing an independent role in relation to the U.S. going forward, and the source fully expected the presidential spokesman now to lay low. Peskov's position was not helped by a botched attempt by him also to interfere in the recent failed coup in Turkey from a governmental relations (GR) perspective. No further details, it says. 3. The extent of disquiet and division within Moscow caused by the backlash against Russian interference in the U.S. election was underlined by a second source, close to Premier Dmitry Medvedev's DAM. She or he said the Russian Prime Minister and his colleagues wanted to have good relations with the United States, regardless of who was in power there, and not the least so as to be able to travel there in future, either officially or privately. They were openly refusing to cover up for Peskov and others involved in the DNC Trump operations, or to support his counterattack of allegations against the USG for its alleged hacking of the Russian government and state agencies. And last, number 4, according to the first source, close to Ivanov, there had been talk in the Kremlin of Trump being forced to withdraw from the presidential race altogether as a result of recent events, ostensibly on grounds of his psychological state and unsuitability for high office. This might not be so bad for Russia in the circumstances, but in the view of the source, it remained largely wishful thinking on the part of those in the regime opposed to Peskov and his, quote, botched operations, at least for the time being. And this report was dated 5th of August, 2016. More reports to come. Please tune in next time and hear what else we have to say. Thank you for watching.